From the Massachusetts Broadcasters Station of the Year, this is Western Mass News at 6 a.m.
It's a historic day for America as vaccines of the COVID-19 vaccine are being shipped nationwide. I'm Sabrina Riley with the details coming up.
And Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine will arrive here at Massachusetts hospitals today. Coming up, I'll tell you how the first recipients of the vaccine here in Western Mass are feeling about that.
And yesterday, almost spring-like with temperatures well up into the 50s. Today, we're actually tracking a little bit of snow. We'll have the details, of course, straight ahead.
And later, we look at the vaccine plan across the border in Connecticut. Our team coverage begins now.
It's a very good day for America and for the world.
Today, the first non-trial COVID-19 vaccinations could begin, at least in certain parts of the country. Hello, everybody, and really, we do appreciate you joining us here on Western Mass News on this Monday morning. I'm Taylor Jacobs.
And I'm Jordan McCool. This after both the CDC and the FDA granted emergency use authorization for the vaccine over the weekend. Western Mass News reporter Sabrina Riley joins us live from our MGM studios with more on these developments. Good morning, Sabrina.
Well, good morning. As cases of COVID-19 are rising across the nation, this vaccine is really providing hope for millions of Americans. Now, the director of the CDC, Robert Redford, says that they have accepted the CDC panel's recommendation for the United States' first COVID-19 vaccine on Saturday night. This after it was authorized for emergency use on Friday by the Food and Drug Administration. Now, the first rounds of COVID-19 vaccines were loaded onto trucks Sunday morning in Michigan, and right now they are being distributed nationwide. By today, a total of 189 boxes worth will have been delivered. That's about 2.9 million doses to begin vaccinating Americans, mainly healthcare workers and long-term care facility residents and staff. The U.S. plans to distribute 14 million doses of the vaccine by the end of the year, with tens of millions more going out by the beginning of 2021.
The expectation is in the next several months that there'll be enough supply of vaccines to vaccinate 100 million Americans.
Medical experts say that getting enough people immunized and creating herd immunity will take time, and this isn't a quick fix. People are, of course, still encouraged to keep social distancing, wearing masks, and frequently washing those hands. And while many people are eager to get the vaccine, there are some people who are still hesitant, rightfully so. That's why coming up in the next half hour, we'll answer questions on what this vaccine really is and potential side effects. But for now, live in Springfield, Sabrina Riley, Western Mass News.
Thank you for that, Sabrina. And as our team coverage continues here we are now in phase 1 of the coronavirus vaccination rollout plan in Massachusetts. It's underway.
And hospitals in the Bay State will begin receiving the vaccine as early as today, with plans to begin administering doses to healthcare workers by midweek. Lena Jakowski is live in studio with those details. Good morning, Lena.
Good morning, Jordan and Taylor. 60,000 COVID-19 vaccines are scheduled to arrive in Massachusetts beginning today, and hospitals statewide plan to begin administering these doses to their employees by the middle of the week. Now, security and safety plans, in addition to handling policies, have been laid out to ensure proper protocols are in place. Mercy Medical Center's Chief Medical Officer Robert Roos tells Western Mass News the hospital is prepared to begin administering the vaccine almost immediately.
We have the storage with our ultra cold freezer. We have security and safety and handling policies and protocols in place. We have the staff that are ready to accept the vaccine and staff that are ready to administer it.
The general public won't receive access until phase 3, which is slated to begin in April of 2021. But there's hesitation across the board. And coming up in the next half hour, find out how hospital staff members are feeling about receiving the first doses of the vaccine. Live in studio, Lena Jakowski, Western Mass News.
Good Monday morning, everybody. It is 6:14. Hopefully your Monday is off to a nice start. It's off to a chilly start out there. Temperatures have certainly cooled off after yesterday's highs in the 50s. We're at 31 right now. Clouds have moved in as well, and we're going to be dealing with a little bit of wet snow, a little bit of a wintry mix as we go through the day today. Not a major storm, but just something you got to be aware of today. Certainly a little bit of that moisture might lead to a few slippery spots, especially later on around lunchtime or so. Temperatures right now are right at or a little bit below freezing. 31 in Springfield, 32 in Greenfield, and we do have moisture showing up on the radar, but a lot of what you see here is just not reaching the ground. It's leaving the clouds, then evaporating before it reaches the ground. However, notice all the moisture down towards the nation's capital. This has quite a bit of moisture with it, but the general flow of this storm is going to be more east than north, so we're just going to get grazed by it. So for this morning, it's cloudy and colder. Temperatures near 30 now. They'll come up a few degrees. We'll have a light snow or a little bit of a wintry mix developing late morning. And as we go into the afternoon, let's say between about 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., that's our window of opportunity of picking up some of that wet snow. Temperatures in the mid-30s, according to maybe an inch in Greater Springfield. I think it's mainly on grassy surfaces, but watch out for a little bit of refreeze as temperatures fall below freezing this evening, and that could lead to some icy spots. In terms of snow totals, coating to an inch for most of us, maybe a little bit more across the hill towns in higher terrain where it's just a little bit colder. All right, that's your forecast for today. More important storm perhaps for the middle of the week. Well, the details on that coming up in just a few minutes from now. We'll see you then.
All right, get the foreboding music going. Thank you, Dan. Over the border in Connecticut, Governor Ned Lamont has released his vaccine distribution plan. Connecticut ordering 31,000 vaccines on Friday, and the doses will be delivered to hospitals starting today. Long-term care facilities where these arrangements have been made, that's Walgreens and CVS for the vaccine distribution there at those locations. It's expected to begin on December 21st.
And the vaccine may be on its way to Massachusetts hospitals, but the state's new restrictions are now in effect. All communities across the Bay State will roll back to Phase 3, Step 1 of the reopening plan. This will reduce indoor capacity to 40% for most industries. It will also require the closure of certain businesses that fall under Phase 3, Step 2. Now, the Baker administration announced the rollback because of the increase of COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations since Thanksgiving. And free COVID-19 testing is set to begin at UMass Amherst today. The new testing site is part of the state's testing expansion efforts. Now, testing at the university will be available at the Mullins Center by appointment only. Appointments are available today through January 21st from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Adults and children without symptoms are eligible for a test, but officials are asking anyone who may be experiencing symptoms to contact their medical provider instead.
Well, starting today in Greenfield, City Hall and the Department of Public Works buildings will be closed. Offices will be open by appointment only during normal business hours. Now, this order also comes from the city's mayor, who encourages residents to do their business remotely where possible.
And today at the State House and across the country, Electoral College members will be meeting to formally choose Joe Biden as the state's next president. By law, electors will meet in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. to cast their ballots. Results will be sent to Washington and tallied in a January 6th session of Congress. Biden is expected to address the nation tonight after all votes have been cast.
All right, well, coming up on Western Mass News, folks, it's been more than 50 years since the Zodiac Killer murders took place in California. Now an encoded message believed to be sent by the killer. Well, it's been cracked. Details next.
Plus, more one-on-one mothers pushed to expose child abusers after her 1-year-old was nearly killed.
And then later, more on the Christmas contest, bringing some holiday cheer to Western Mass. And as we send you off to break, folks, we got a few cameras to show you, just to give you a glimpse of what your commute could be like. Here we are in the Springfield area by exit 3. Smooth sailing, a little bit more congested than other areas on 91. But here we are now in West Springfield, a lot more space between the cars. All right, that traffic report was brought to you by Country Nissan. We'll be right back.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Time right now is 6:10. You know, yesterday is one of those days where you just wish you could kind of bottle it up and just kind of bring it out whenever you want, right in the middle of the winter. But certainly yesterday was a beautiful day. We got up into the 50s yesterday with a little bit of sunshine, not a whole lot of wind. Of course, any remaining snow on the ground, particularly in eastern Hampden and Hampshire counties, really melted away. Not much left, if anything at all, out there now, with temperatures yesterday just shy of 60 degrees. Now, colder air continued to filter in last night, and we are much colder now with temperatures right around that freezing mark. In fact, most spots are at or below freezing, the exception East Long Meadows at 33, Springfield at 31. So we get colder air draining in. Meanwhile, we have moisture, which is off to our south and west, which is going to bump into that slightly colder air, and that is going to bring some wet snow for today. So it's an active week of weather ahead. We have a minor system today and then a more important one Wednesday night into Thursday. By the way, visibilities are fine now, and for the most part, the wind is on the lighter side. So we'll get through the morning commute with most likely dry conditions, but after about 9, 10 o'clock, that's when we could see a little bit of a wintry mix, snow, a little bit of rain mixed in with temperatures borderline right at the surface, but it'll likely just go over to plain wet snow as we go into the afternoon, and then it's going to wind down before the evening commute. So we're not calling for a major amount of snowfall, but this could lead to a few slippery spots, particularly in the hill towns, the higher terrain, and of course the sidewalks, maybe in some of those walkways. So just keep that in mind. I think, again, after about 3 or 4 o'clock, so during the evening commute, we're going to see this system move on out. Behind it, though, it's going to pull down cold air, and the wind will actually pick up this evening, and it'll bring in the cold air tonight. Temperatures fall into the 20s with a little bit of a breeze. It's going to feel like it's in the teens to start tomorrow. It's going to set the stage ahead of our next storm system. So for today, we're just going for about a coating to an inch, and a bulk of this would fall during the middle part of the day today. A little bit more snow, where there's a tiny bit more moisture, but also it's going to be a couple of degrees cooler in some of our hill towns, particularly hill towns of Hampden County, maybe Worthington, Huntington, Russell, Blandford, where there could be an inch or two of snowfall there. Again, you can see on the radar, yes, it looks like it's snowing, but a lot of this is not reaching the ground. There is a lot of moisture with it. It extends down all the way across the southeast, but the bulk of this slides out to sea. It's this back across the Rocky Mountain states, I should say, which is going to be our next system. It's way off to the west. It's going to slide east, pick up moisture from the Gulf, and then it will head up in our direction for Wednesday night into Thursday. So there goes the storm system for today. Tomorrow, high pressure is going to work in from the north. That's going to supply the cold air. Meanwhile, that storm system comes out of the Gulf. It'll position itself off the Carolina coast Wednesday afternoon, and then the exact track of this storm system will determine how much snow we end up getting. What we do know, it's a significant storm. I mean, it is going to affect a lot of the big cities, including most of New England. All snow for us. It wouldn't be any rain or anything like that. It'd be that fluffy stuff, and it'd be Wednesday night, it looks like, into Thursday morning. That would be the height of the storm. Of course, the big questions there is how much and how far north that snow shield comes up into western Mass. The exact track and how much dry air gets involved will determine how much snow we get. But let's plan on, anyway, at least a plowable event for Wednesday night and Thursday morning. And the potential is there for much more than that as well. So fine-tune it as we get closer to it. I think it winds down by the afternoon on Thursday, and then it's cold air to follow. All right, we'll talk to you and see you in a few minutes. Jordan Taylor, to you.